It's lights out and away we go, and it's Max Verstappen against Lewis Hamilton. They both got away quite even, and that's off, and that looks like a Haas, and it could have been Nikita Mazepin in the Haas.
I crashed. I'm so sorry, guys.
That's okay, as long as you're okay.
It's definitely going to be a safety car, I would imagine, but it's Max Verstappen who's got the better of the start against Hamilton. And that is Nicholas Latifi in the Williams, and he is out. Going off where Leclerc went off on the formation lap. Rejoins.
Right, that's not Mazepin's fault. That's the car recovering back onto the track.
A safety car now, because that's Valtteri Bottas and George Russell who are out of this race, and they look like they've had a big coming together as well. On board with George Russell, who hits Bottas. Oh. Yes, because he gets onto the grass.
What the was he doing? Honestly, see a for what?
What the
Are you okay, Valtteri?
Big one. All good.
Oh no, and that is an accident, and it is Lance Stroll. And Lance Stroll, who might well have been coming into the pits, has left a huge amount of debris on the track. He's moving around in the cockpit. That's great to see. What happened to Lance Stroll? And yeah, absolutely no chance of avoiding the accidents. I said potentially coming into the pits. Oh, that's an impact, isn't it? Look at and that's Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen on the main straight, leading this race, now out of this race. Sergio Perez leads from Lewis Hamilton. That is a 200-mile-an-hour crash for Max Verstappen, and that is also Red Bull's first 1-2 in many a long year, taken out of them as well. It's lights out and away we go. Verstappen gets the better start. Perez and Lando Norris jockeying for position.
And Leclerc has a damaged right front wing as well. There was a little bit of contact. We saw a piece coming off it.
And there's chaos at the back. Yuki Tsunoda and also Nicholas Latifi and Antonio Giovinazzi. And as you say, Martin, damage on the Ferrari, and Charles Leclerc straight into the pits as a result of it. Completing the first lap, Lando Norris is in third. Hamilton is second, and he's 9/10 of a second behind the leader, Max Verstappen. Meanwhile, Norris's teammate Daniel Ricciardo under pressure from Yuki Tsunoda in the AlphaTauri. Ricciardo is 9th at the moment, Tsunoda is 10th. Lights out and away we go. It's Verstappen ahead of Norris, Perez ahead of Hamilton. George Russell has lost places right at the start. He's under pressure from Daniel Ricciardo behind them. Someone has gone off into the gravel, and we've got a safety car as everything now slows down.
Oh, he's had a bit of contact there, isn't he?
I'm out, guys. That's it.
He will not want to be coming back to Austria in a hurry. It has been a pretty much horrible time for Esteban Ocon here in the last 7 days. Started 17th for the second weekend running. He gets to turn 3. He's the filling in a sandwich between Mick Schumacher on the outside and Antonio Giovinazzi on the inside, and Giovinazzi clips his front right. He conquered. Max Verstappen wins the Austrian Grand Prix.
There was a bit of an incident on the last lap. I think Vettel getting involved here as well, and Raikkonen and Russell obviously.
Good friends, former teammates, and they might want to have a little chat about that at the end of this race. It's lights out and away we go. Once again, Max Verstappen gets a decent start. Not as good as yesterday. Hamilton is right with him. Leclerc is already ahead of Bottas. Verstappen's ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton's going to try again, this time on the inside. A continent touch. Verstappen is out of the race, and that's a big crash into Copse. Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen coming together. Hamilton continues on. Charles Leclerc now leads the British Grand Prix, but for the second time this season, Hamilton and Verstappen clash and tangle on the opening lap, but this time it is ending in dramatic consequences for the championship leader. It was the merest of touches, but it was enough, and look how the wheel has come loose from the rim as well. The tyres come loose from the rim.
I said it wasn't over yet, didn't I, as they came out of Luffield.
Was there a bit more room to the right that Hamilton should have been finding?
Yes, red flag.
They need to repair that tyre barrier. Lights out and away we go. And there's Lando Norris touched, and into each other goes Valtteri Bottas and Sergio Perez, and that's the Alfa Romeo and AlphaTauri getting caught up as the McLaren spun round with the Ferrari as well. And Max Verstappen, I think, has gone tumbling down the order. Yeah, Max Verstappen has got caught on board now with Valtteri Bottas, and he made contact with both Red Bulls there.
Bottas took out both Red Bull cars.
Lance Stroll, just arriving far too quickly. And there's a collision in the pit lane between Mazepin and Raikkonen, and that is why Nikita Mazepin is out of this race.
One of the Red Bulls, I think that's Sergio Perez in the wall. Where's he gone in the wall? But you can see how tricky it is out there. Going to the grid, you can see how slim the rear wing is.
And it's all too much for little Lando Norris.
And it's lights out and away we go. Bottas gets away well, as does Max Verstappen. There's damage there to Pierre Gasly's AlphaTauri as his front wing comes off and he crashes at the Curva Grande. He'd slowed down quite dramatically, and by the time he hit the barriers...
He's gone around the outs. Oh, look, he's clipped the back of the McLaren, broken his wing. That's where the damage was done.
There's Max Verstappen. It's wheel to wheel. Hamilton and Verstappen. And this time Verstappen and Hamilton have crashed out, and they are both out. As Hamilton came from his pit stop, rejoined the racetrack, Lando Norris was ahead, and in their desperation to stay ahead and to get ahead, the two championship protagonists have taken each other out of the Italian Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go here. Into turn one we go. Verstappen is into the lead ahead of Hamilton. Bottas gets tagged by Daniel Ricciardo. Perez goes onto the grass, and it's an all sorts of kerfuffle going on in that first corner. There's Yuki Tsunoda getting hit in the AlphaTauri as well. Verstappen leads from Hamilton. Pierre Gasly is challenging Sergio Perez. Perez just stays ahead. We're on board with Ricciardo, who locks up, then makes contact with Bottas. Perez dives off onto the grass, and then there's all sorts of shenanigans going on behind. It is Mick Schumacher into the barrier at the infamous now turn 21-22 complex. We saw Charles Leclerc there in practice. Mick Schumacher has gone into the barriers now. We've got our first safety car of the evening.
Are you okay, Mick? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
It absorbed it all.
It's lights out and away we go again as Esteban Ocon gets ahead of Lewis Hamilton and goes into second place, and that's Sergio Perez who's been tagged, and there's another incident involving George Russell, and it's Russell up against the barriers. So Verstappen in the lead from Esteban Ocon, and then comes Lewis Hamilton, but they're going to talk about that start again, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if we get a second safety car, because that was chaos at the start. This is down into turn 6, and that absolutely looked like a braking issue.
Yeah, it's like pulling the handbrake on. The brake-by-wire has let him down there somewhere, and the rear axle has locked on him.
Oh no, Nicholas Latifi has crashed, and I think that is at turn 14, and I would imagine there's a set of soft tyres waiting for him to go onto that Red Bull car. Yes, it is.
Will we get any more racing laps or not? What jeopardy at the end of this Grand Prix, the end of this World Championship. Will there be any more racing laps?